Okay. We'll go ahead and call the Warren County Salary Board meeting to order. Everyone please join me in the pledge of allegiance and silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Meeting being recorded on May 7 meetings for the record. Forum being confirmed. Let's take a look at the minutes. January 12th. Hearing comments, corrections.
Make a motion to accept the minutes as presented. Second.
Motion being properly seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor please state aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it, motion carries. Old items of discussion. I believe Lisa is running to see if she can get Carrie on the phone over here. Because I think,
That would be helpful. You want to be assured of that, and I don't want to create any additional problems.
I mean, if we're prepared to talk about it now, let's just talk
Okay.
about it. Even if we can't make a decision about it today, let's at least chat about it. So, list of all positions. Kim, would you please give us an update?
Yes, so I've been working with trying to go back in history to try to create a master document of, so basically what it is that each department, and then say, for example, somebody switches and they move, and putting the date they vacated a position and the date that they filled the position. So I'm trying to go through each department. It is a little bit time consuming because I have to go back through records and stuff, so I'm not 100% completed, but I've got a very good start.
Okay. The main point of doing this would be to identify if there are any positions that are out there that are not currently filled.
Yes, and I came across one in planning and zoning. We had a administrative assistant position back. It looks like the person vacated in 2008 and nothing was ever done with it. So technically it's open.
Okay.
And then again, like I said, it's a lot of history gathering. I'm pretty good at it until before my time, and then I have to go back and look at notes and stuff. So.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of work to try to dig that old stuff up. I mean, can we?
It is, but I think it's going to be beneficial in the long run, because one, it's going to give me history, and a lot of times I've had several instances where I've had to actually just refer to it, and I can't even think of an example off the top of my head. But the other thing it's going to do is it's going to help me track how many positions are open, because sometimes I don't always know. So like in the sheriff's department, if you ask me today how many are open, I can probably give you a good guess, but it needs to be accurate, so I think that's what.
And they'll have a different opinion, exactly. So
Yes.
that's the point of this master document, is so that when someone comes to us and says, oh, we have this open position, we're just gonna fill it.
Yeah, no, so I don't at all disagree with any of that. I guess my point is like, there's maybe a couple departments that have like regular open positions, but the rest of them, everybody pretty much knows what they are. I mean, even if we just had that list and just approved it here, then we could just move forward without having to go through a bunch of like past documentation to try to figure out, I mean, if a position was open 10 years ago.
So like example, like tax claim. Okay, so I know who was there before me, Colby, then I came in, then after me it was Stephanie, so I'm trying to do that chain and come up with dates. So that's what's taking so long.
It's not the position part.
Yeah, it's just,
What she's doing in part is outside the purview of the salary board. We don't really care who's in the position from a salary board perspective. That's an HR function. But I'm trying to get out of this for salary board purposes is to reset, as we've talked about several times, and say, all right, at this point, there's 2 open positions in the sheriff's office, and that's it across the entire county government. So that we don't have to wonder about these open positions out there.
So I guess from my perspective, I would say like Ken used the planning and zoning position in 2008 was vacated. I would say, excuse me, what's budgeted? What positions are budgeted? Okay, that one was vacated and they've operated since 2008 without that position. So what do we have budgeted, I guess would be my question, to see if there's anything open.
That's a good question, but the point that he's trying to make is that the salary board sets the number of positions in the salary. So if there's a position that's open, hypothetically, it could be filled. You know, and obviously the budget would be a consideration, but the point is that hypothetically it could be filled even with or without that consideration.
You don't want the commissioners being the sole people that decide based on the budget whether there are or not positions. That's rightfully the salary board hours, and if we did what you were just suggesting, we would cut you out of the process. So you don't want that.
And we don't want that.
And we don't want that either.
Share the love.
So anyway, I think it's reasonable, since you're clearly along, a lot of the way through this, that by the next meeting, we would be able to probably rescind any open positions that are not filled.
I would say so, yes.
Okay. Okay, very good, thanks for the update.
Sure.
The next item of discussion has to do with possible retirement, planning and zoning.
Yes. I reached out to Lori Dunlop to see if she had any.
But, quick pause, I'm not sure, should that be executive or not? Can't think of any reason it need to be.
Everything I have to say is general. I don't know if it's not that.
Well, I don't know that for a specific personnel matter, we should be discussing in a public meeting.
Yeah, I mean, the point is that there may be a vacancy within the planning and zoning office.
Yes.
And so our question was, is there a way that we could train somebody alongside that position for a period of time? And it sounds like there's already an administrative assistant position open
Yes.
in that department. And we actually budgeted for part of the year for it.
We did. The problem is we don't know, but we don't have a definite
Yeah.
date as to when that will be effective, so.
Okay, so we will not be trying to fill that in the immediate future, but that door is open to us
Yes,
when we need to.
correct.
I think that there should be a separate discussion by the commissioners to discuss the long-term plans for that. And maybe, you know, because the whole discussion about a date or plans for it, I mean, it kind of hinges on that. And I think that there are decisions that we can make as far as what we've done.
I think there also has to be a discussion about the overall succession from the director, which is to retire as well someday. So.
We can have an executive session amongst the commissioners to discuss that, but I guess for the salary board minutes, let it reflect that there is that open position.
Yes.
And we don't need to do any no changes in salary or anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's correct, yeah.
Very good. Next, increasing of hours in the register of recorder's office. There you are.
Thank you so much, everybody that has helped over the last 6 weeks. Come a long way in a short time, and we certainly have a long way to go, so thank you so much for the support and for listening to me when I have questions, and I just can't even express how much I appreciate the help I've had from Gabby upstairs and the commissioners and just everybody that I reach out to has been so helpful, so thank you.
Oh, you did? I did put it in the packet.
Our part-time temporary person did not come to fruition, unfortunately. The person that I had in mind for that, she had to think about it, and we were so busy, we really didn't have time to, I gave her some time to think about it, and then ultimately she decided to pass on the position. So, mainly because it was temporary, she was hoping for something full-time and permanent, I understand that, but I was hoping we would get some help for at least a few weeks maybe, but. So I've done a lot of thinking, obviously, and I worked in the office before when there was a full-time register of wills, there was full-time deputy recorder of deeds, they were both cross-trained. That is one thing that I would like you to think about. Again, I would like to ask to have the full-time register of wills position put back in place. Currently what we're doing at the moment, Emily and Jody have increased their hours slightly, which is another thing I wanted to talk to you about and make sure I have your permission for that or beg for it. Emily currently works 35 hours. She is willing to temporarily, and not every day, but she would like to come in a half hour early at 8 o'clock and cut her hour lunch break to a half hour. That would give her an extra hour a day, once in a while, not every day, a few hours a week, maybe temporarily, if that would be okay. She did that a couple hours last week. It was wonderful. She came in early. She's working at the backlog. And also Jody, I talked to Kim. Jody's allowed to work up to 999 hours per year and not affect her retirement. So she's actually been coming in some extra hours too. Not a ton, but a few. And that's been very helpful too with the backlog. So we are making progress. They were both behind because of COVID problems in December. So they've taken care of their backlogs that were on their desk. And now we're chipping away at Register of Wills, which is still unfortunately way behind. But I did get the grants of letters out to the attorneys, and as you've probably noticed, all the legal notices in the paper over the last 2 weeks, the letters were given, and they're happy about that. So we have a lot of work to do, and we're all happy to do it. I've been putting in a lot of extra hours, which I'm happy to do. And so I would like you to consider allowing Emily once in a while to come in a half hour early and change her lunch break to a half hour if possible for maybe a couple extra hours a week is all. And Jody, like I said, she's doing a little bit extra if that's okay. And then also strongly consider Jody.
Whoops.
Yeah, I'm fine.
I spilled it, just water.
Tend to get off, right? That's okay. Think about that full-time Register of Wills position again. And then if, like we discussed at the last meeting, if you, I know you want me to think about Jody's position a lot because she's at deputy rate. She is willing to learn more of the Register of Wills responsibilities, but I still feel that that office needs a full-time person focused on that. It really does. It's just something that we really need to do to get the office to where I would like it to be. And on top of that, we have organizational issues with our files that go up to the courts and are available to the public. And this has been an ongoing issue for many years. This is not just, the last year, the shape of our files. I'm going to visit with the pros office and see how they handle their files. And we're going to start from this point forward, having all of our new files put together that way. And then we'll also start working backwards as we have time. So there's a lot of work to do. I just would really appreciate your thoughts on that and your consideration.
Okay. Well, on the administrative, it sounds like an administrative decision on your part related to Jody's hours. So I don't think that needs to come before the board necessarily. I don't think we're prepared or have a budget in place to increase that position to full-time at this time.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll go ahead and take your presentation as a motion to increase the recorder of deeds deputy from 35 to 40. Is that correct? Hours per week.
Yeah, or if she could, even if just a few hours a week. She doesn't really want to lock herself into 40 because she's traveling from so far away each day and the roads are a little dicey.
Well, again, I think that's up to your,
Okay.
as long as we approve up to 40 hours a week, it's up to your management
Oh,
to
okay,
choose how many hours she's working.
okay.
Is it hourly?
Yeah.
Is it paid hourly? Is it-
So is it overtime from 35 to 40?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I assume the budget could absorb that.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion made and properly seconded. Discussion on the motion.
I think Lisa's done a great job. I think they're doing a great job. I know that there have been many nights that when I've left late, that Lisa's still here and feverishly writing, typing, a number of other things. So you want to do whatever we can to get you guys where you think you need to be. So.
We'll get there. It's going to take time, and we're all enjoying it right now. We really are working hard and doing a good job, but it's because we like it. They really do like their work. And Jody is fairly new. She just got here in August. There's a lot to learn. It takes a long time in that office. And I remember Marcella telling me 4 years ago when I said, I don't know if I can do this. She said, give it 2 years. And I thought, 2 years? Well, she would know, that's for sure. But yeah, thank you so much. They definitely have come a long way. I think now that they're getting to know me a little bit better, and with all the negative things behind us, that we've been able to move forward and do a really good job.
So how would you gauge how far behind do you have, because you and I have talked a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and are you able to keep running at current? And you have some stuff to fix in the back from the history, right?
Correct.
But are you able to keep up with your current requirements, with the demands, whether it be the public, the courts, the attorneys, and such?
I think it's gonna be difficult, to be honest, but we're gonna try. We're gonna try really hard. We're getting ready to get into our busy season here pretty soon, March. It starts to pick up, April, May, it's May now. So, we'll see. I think it's gonna be tricky, I really do, but
So-
we're gonna work hard.
It's kind of like deja vu for me. When I took over treasurer and tax claim, the one position was eliminated before I came in, and it took me till September to convince the commissioners to put the other deputy back in. I was working 60 to 70 hours a week, and Commissioner Banco said, well, it's a salary position, you gotta work as long as it takes. And I got to a point where I said, this can't continue, and they recognized it because of the workload. So it's kind of like deja vu for me, that she's kind of going through, she's on this learning curve. Yes, she's been there before, but she's on a learning curve and trying to keep all the balls in the air, along with some issues that she's come upon. And it's just so familiar to me from what I experienced, so I would be in support of putting back the deputy for her. Because I've been there, so.
Going back to the previous meetings where we discussed like assistants, I mean, I know that you had people that you were really interested in. I mean, should that be posted, like that job, that position was,
It might be a
Authorized.
bad idea.
you know, because I mean, I get that it's nice to have people that can walk on day one and,
Yeah.
you know, be effective, but at the same time, a lot of the stuff that you want them to do is you know, it's a matter of learning a routine and,
Mhm.
you know, tearing through that.
Yeah, at first it made me a little panicky, so, now that we're less so panicked, not bad. And then Kim and I also discussed a person that she knows that may be available to help us out. And it wouldn't be a bad time right now for someone to step in and be shown how to get those files.
So I came across a lady through a temp agency, and she's been temping periodically in the public defender's office. And so they're very happy with her quality of work, how she interacts with the public, they love her. And just on the fly, I just asked her if she would ever be interested in any other projects here, and she's very interested. So she said it doesn't matter what department, she would definitely be willing. Now, I didn't go into specific like hours for her, how much, but she did say to keep her in mind.
Well, the position is created, so go ahead and post it and see.
Okay.
Which position are you referring to?
The temporary.
The temp.
temp.
The 3-month, the 13-week contract position you created last time. Good to go.
Then maybe next year, we could talk again about it and see how we've done after a full year in office.
But, you know, before that will be budget season in September.
Okay, all right, sounds good.
I'll be here before you know
Oh, yeah, oh, it's already moving.
it. You'll be going, where'd the year go?
I already feel that way, I just can't believe it.
All right, so back to the motion, which
Talk to
was
as well in the morning.
Okay.
35 to 40 hours. All those in favor of that motion, please state aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Lisa, where is Carrie? Is she coming?
I couldn't get a hold of her, and her office was trying to get a hold of her,
Okay.
and that's my fault, I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
We thought the meeting was last week, I actually came last Tuesday.
Oh.
So, thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right, so the first question related to this is, can we even vote on it today due to the fact that it's not on the agenda? I mean, the new Sunshine Act, I'm not sure that it can be.
So we can just maybe have a discussion, and then we can come back again. So,
I could start off based on what we talked about before. We're just recognizing the scope of work that the employee is already performing. You don't have an office manager in that department, but you should. And you've already saved the county $16-some thousand.
$16,420.30.
So I guess maybe I missed the beginning of this conversation, Barbara. So.
What happened was the union approached Kerry because they were negotiating, I believe, or they still are, I don't know. And in any event, when they looked at the duties and the job description, they felt that it should not be an intake position, it should be an office management position. And the position had been eliminated, a part-time clerk of records position, which had bumped some of the work to the intake clerk there. So it did make sense, and Carrie thought it was a great idea. So she said, I'm not opposed. I called her when the union had written about it, and they said all they wanted to do was recategorize that position.
The one that we had just changed, right?
No, that was in the court hearing office. You changed Wayland Lindbergh, which is a separate office.
No, sorry, I
Okay.
apologize. So in domestic
Separate
relations,
position.
it's a different position. Okay, that's what I got
Right,
confused
right,
about.
I'm sorry
Okay.
about that, but there was one position that was at the last meeting in which the duties changed again. They recategorized what the duties were. An enforcement officer was no longer required to have a 4-year education, et cetera. And the amount of time wasn't split anymore between probation and domestic relations, which was really the history of that position in the past. So they thought, to be consistent with everyone else that works 37.5 hours, we should just do that, and that was done.
Okay, and that's a different thing.
That's a different issue.
Okay, that fixes, okay, so now I get it.
Which I was refreshed on that when I read the minutes.
Right,
It was in our last meeting before they.
sure. And for whatever reason, that must have been an oversight, because I was under the impression this was already on the calendar, so I apologize to you.
No, I'm sorry, because I didn't
Yeah.
know. Usually if somebody wants something on the agenda, they send me an email or something.
Okay.
It's my fault.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
this,
well, go ahead, Lisa.
this came out of the union negotiation because they asked for it in the negotiations, and Chris Gabriel told them that that changing job classifications is a duty of the salary board.
Okay, well, it seems like a no-brainer to me.
Mhm.
That said, I just read the law again, and I don't see how, since it wasn't posted on the website 24 hours ago, we could vote on it today.
I agree.
So I would state my support of it, I suppose, and we will, by default, put it on the March agenda. We can
And
always
on the
backdate
March
it.
agenda, it's likely that it'll be in Forest County again, but if that's the case, I'll either call or have Carrie here if
And
there's
again,
voting. I don't think
You
it's-
explained it, I don't think anyone's going to be opposed to that.
Does anyone have any other questions about it? No, okay.
Is someone already in the position now?
Yes,
Okay,
right.
so just reclassification.
I believe Amber is the new.
Yeah.
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah.
She's the intake officer.
She's listed as an intake clerk right now, position at domestic relations, and they wanted to change the classification to office manager. They had resignations from a full-time customer service position and a part-time clerk of records. They combined the duties. That's,
Seems straightforward enough. We'll post that on the next agenda. I don't believe there's any cause for executive session. Then I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
So second.
All those in favor?
I
leave, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.